interior of this lovely Land Rover Defender. This model is black outside, black leather interior. It's a really good mixture of utilitarian, hard wearing materials and soft touch, nice quality leather. If we look at the dashboard, first of all, we've got an interactive screen for the instruments, very clear. And then if we look at the main infotainment screen, it's really high resolution, very easy to use. So I've got it set up in Apple CarPlay. One of the most interesting and striking features of the car is this. This is a 360-degree panoramic camera. It feels like you're driving your own video game. It's quite distracting, but it's a really nice feature, especially if you're taking the car off-road and you want to see if there's any sort of rocks or boulders around. So back to Apple CarPlay. Again, really easy to use. This is how the screen appears in home mode, and I just flip it on like that onto Apple CarPlay and enjoy a bit of Billy Joel. And you also have, unlike a lot of modern cars like Teslas, like new Volkswagens, you also have separate dials, knobs for your climate control and your other functions as well. And you've got plenty of connectivity in the front of the car as well for USB and USB-C. And that's that for the front of the car. Back in the back of the car, we've got plenty of charging points as well, and plenty of space for kids, dogs, whatever. It's a really nicely finished interior. One other point which I must show you in the car is this panoramic roof. So at the moment I've just got it on tilt. Obviously with the car being black leather, black roof lining, it's really good to have a panoramic roof, and it does go a long way back, so it goes back into the rear passenger compartment as well. That's the interior review. One final thing I must mention as well, I talked about Billy Joel and I showed you the screen. This is a Meridian sound system, surround sound, and it is the best sound system I've ever come across in a car. It's just fantastic. It handles all sorts of frequencies, bass, treble, and it just feels like you drive around in your own black clad leather disco. That's the interior. Now for my driving impressions of this Defender. It's a 3-litre 6-cylinder diesel, and the first impressions are how quiet and refined the car is. You wouldn't really know that it's a diesel. I guess that's because it's a 6-cylinder. It's just a lot smoother than the four-cylinder diesels. It's got 250 horsepower. It's got 420 pound-foot of torque, but it's got 2.3 tons to haul around. So it's not an especially fast car. It does 0 to 60 in 8.3 seconds, which coincidentally is exactly the same as my MX-5 does, but that weighs a ton and only has 130 horsepower. When you're driving it, you do notice that there is quite a lot of roll around the corners, and I do think the seats could hold you in place a bit better. It's not designed to be a sports car at all. In fact, there is no sports mode for the car. You can have a myriad of off-road modes, including a wade mode, and it would be great and a great idea for the next video to see if I could have a go at nearby East Nor Castle at the Land Rover driving experience. Where do I see this car's natural habitat? I can imagine it being driven around, cruising around the freeways of LA with some celeb at the wheel, not some middle-aged ginger bloke from Cheltenham. But it's just a great cruiser really. If you were doing the miles, and this is a diesel, you could just drive this car for hours and hours and get out unstressed. Obviously helped hugely by the low level of noise within the car and the fantastic Meridian sound system, which I must mention again. Those are my driving impressions. It's great. I mean, it's a very distinctive car. there are 3 other Land Rover products within the 60 to 70,000 pound price range as well. If you want space, you go for a Discovery, because that's 7 seats. If you want something more luxurious, probably just as distinctive, you'd go for the Range Rover Velar. Or if you want your mini sporty looking Range Rover, you could have a Range Rover Discovery Sport. But for me, if I had the money, I'd be picking the Defender all day long. And thank you very much, Marshall Jaguar Land Rover of Cheltenham, for the loan of your lovely James Bond spec car. Goodbye, folks.